Hi, this is Amara Wiley, your spiritual tour guide. Today, I wanted to talk about having a spiritual practice. So, I run into all kinds of spiritual people who don't have a daily spiritual practice, and that's totally okay. But if you want to start having a spiritual practice, I believe that it enhances your connection to spirit and makes your life a little easier. So, here is some thoughts that I have about finding time to create a spiritual practice in your life. I think a lot of people are intimidated because they have to carve out 30 minutes, an hour to meditate or journal or whatever they think of as a spiritual practice. And for me, a spiritual practice just means connection to spirit, taking time to connect to spirit and connect to ourselves, which is spirit. So one really simple way to have a spiritual practice is when you have your morning coffee or your afternoon tea to just take a moment. It doesn't really have to be more than a moment. It could be the whole time you're drinking it, but just even if it's 5 seconds to just take a sip and really savor the taste of whatever it is that you are drinking. So like this. It can be as simple as that. If I know in the warmer weather, I will often go sit on my little balcony, or when I didn't have a balcony, sit outside on the stoop with my little cup of coffee and just experience the outdoors for 5 minutes. Experience the the feeling of the breeze on my skin, of the warmth of the sun, of the sounds of the birds, the smells in the air, the smell of the coffee, really to just get present, because that's the best way of starting a spiritual practice, is to just be present. When I first started out, a really long time ago, 27, 28 years ago, what I was coached to do was to spend 20 minutes a day in Zen meditation, and to just stare at the wall or to light a stick of incense and let the smoke flutter up, and to let my thoughts arise like the smoke and drift away, not to become attached to my thoughts, because there is no way to have no thoughts. We have monkey minds. That's just the way our brains work. We always have, the thought might be, look, I'm doing it, I'm not thinking, but we always have thoughts. So rather than getting attached to thinking the thoughts, to going, oh, no, I'm not, maybe I will be, like just let it go. Okay. Had that thought, let it go. And you can do the same thing if you're taking a moment in time in the morning or the afternoon or even the evening, to just pause and to become really present, to just notice where you are, notice your body, notice the room, just be really present. Not to get attached to either of those things, but a lot of times people will say, follow your breath if you're meditating, and to just breathe in and breathe out and notice the sounds of your breath and the feelings of your breath. And that's one way of doing it, but that's not the only way. I have especially had a lot of people who are like, oh my gosh, I can't meditate. My thoughts, I can't clear my mind. Okay, so you can't clear your mind. That's fine. You don't have to clear your mind. The part of spiritual practice, that it's a practice, that it takes, repetition to make it easier. And some days are easier than others. And even I have monkey mind. Even the Dalai Lama has monkey mind, not that I'm comparing myself to the Dalai Lama, but, all people, no matter the amount of experience, have thoughts arising. That's just part of our human condition. So But the more we can detach from our thoughts, the more we are able to just really accept whatever's coming in, and the more peace we find in our lives. Because I think that's really, if there is a point, and I don't know that there's a point, but if there is a point to having a daily spiritual practice, it's just more connection, more peace. Um, because we are often in this like fast-paced, stressful, anxious place of, all this stuff is happening around us. And the taking even 5 seconds, 5 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever, but 5 seconds to just breathe for a moment, to watch one breath. And if I really like when you're starting a new habit to connect it to another habit. So like drinking a cup of coffee in the morning, brushing your teeth, take a moment, right before you put the toothpaste on the toothbrush, to take an in breath and an out breath. And if you don't think you're going to remember, write it on a Post-it and stick it on your bathroom mirror until you remember. Like these are, just don't be so hard on yourself that you can't meditate or that you can't create a spiritual practice for yourself. And I will tell you that if I skip a day of spiritual practice, that's okay. But if I start skipping, multiple days of spiritual practice, I'm less peaceful. And so it's almost like I go to bed and I wake up the next day, and any advances I have made in my peaceful realm, in my connection with spirit, have been erased by dreaming and sleeping. And if I just go off and have my day, it will be less free. It will be less free because I have forgotten a little bit of who I am, and who I am is spirit. So we'll leave you with one of my favorite quotes from Martin Luther, the father of the Protestant Reformation. He used to say that if he didn't spend, and the number here varies depending on who's quoting him, but let's say if he didn't spend at least 2 hours a day praying, the devil would get the day. The day would get away from him. He wouldn't have the energy to accomplish the day. Because the thing I hear the most is that I don't have enough time to do whatever, to have a spiritual practice. So here's somebody who found that adding 2 hours a day of praying gave him more time, energy, and effectiveness for the rest of his day. So those are my thoughts. I hope you enjoyed them, and I would love to hear in the comments if you are developing a spiritual practice for yourself. Many blessings, and I love you.